It's a Saturday night inside of Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. with the NHL on NBC Sports Washington. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin, and Al Koken, your announced team. Happy to entertain you for the next couple of hours as the Caps entertain the Tampa Bay Lightning, facing the Bolts for the first time since December of 2019. Alex Ovechkin and friends welcoming the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions who've begun their season with a 1-1 mark. The Caps off to a 1-0 start, fresh from a victory over the New York Rangers back on Wednesday. Washington opening this season, John Carlson and friends on a 3-game homestand as the Bolts and Steven Stamkos come to town off of a terrific come-from-behind win, racing down the Red Wings just 2 nights ago in a 7-6 OT thriller. Nice to have you along for the ride. The on-ice officials, the referees are Furman South and Dean Morton. The linesmen are Johnny Murray and Tyson Baker.
Right off the draw there, Ovechkin and Stamkos had a little chit-chat. Two of the best goal scorers in the modern era.
Cirelli through center will dump it in. Vitek Vanacek in the cage for Washington. Going to plop down on this 12 seconds into the contest.
Vitek right back between the pipes. He had a terrific game against the New York Rangers, 23 of 24. As you check out the Capitals lines, no changes from game 1, the win against the Rangers for Laviolette.
Coach was very pleased with the performance from Wednesday. Knows that there are guys that are itching to get into the action, who are scratched again as healthy scratches tonight. Killorn through center for Tampa Bay, guarded there by Yevgeny Kuznetsov. A back-checking Wilson will leave this one on the back end. John Carlson, routinely Washington's ice time leader, a very manageable 21 minutes in the opener for the Caps.
His minutes overall last season were down under Laviolette and company. Joe, I think he's really right in his zone when he's between 22 and 24. That's when I think he plays his best hockey.
John Cooper's D pairings soon to appear at the top of the screen. Defense has been a sore spot for the Bolts in the first couple of games.
You know, defense is hard, Joe, and you win 2 straight Stanley Cups. You have the banner racing. You give that the night off for just watching the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then last night, or the last game against Detroit, they played much better.
Mantha closing, leaves to the trailer. A blast from Lars Eller that's deflected. Eller in a milestone game for himself tonight.
Yeah, way to go, Lars. His 800th in his career.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk retracing his steps through center as we are just shy of the 2-minute mark getting going between Washington and Tampa Bay. Van Riemsdyk straight ahead. Eller will drag that one deep into the Lightning zone.
And you see the importance of puck control, Joe. Instead of just dumping the puck, make a good play. And that allowed the Caps to get a puck into the Tampa Bay zone.
Very dangerous Braden Point overlapping with Nikita Kucherov. All of that was silenced, and the Tampa Bay squad will need to reorganize through center. Schuster on the dump in. Andre Schuster's second tour of duty with Tampa Bay. 6'7" defender. Palat gets plastered to the boards by Jensen. 5-on-5 play continues. Point goes round and round. Mantha comes away with the puck, and he'll trickle this back to center. Anthony Mantha getting to the outside. Sergachev putting up the roadblock. Dowd's centering pass didn't get through as the Bolts work back through center. Palat gets crunched by Dowd. It was Palat who capped off that overtime win in Detroit.
Might be an underrated player when you look at the Tampa Bay roster. You can always think Point, Kucherov, Stamkos. But you don't think of him, Joe, and he's an important part to their puzzle in winning 2 Stanley Cups.
And he's usually the fire starter for Tampa Bay. He led the team in first period goals last year. Baravari fires, and Vasilevsky kneels to make a solid first stop.
They're going to like that from Vasilevsky, the way he makes the initial shot. Absolutely no rebound. Baravari can use his wheels, and he's got to continue to drive the net. There he jumps right up into the play, and the Capitals' first good look at Vasilevsky right into the belly. But I love Baravari. I always have. He's a very important piece moving forward for the guys in red.
22-year-old, third-year pro here in North America. You see the last couple of years at the American Hockey League level. Baravari, who made his NHL debut when he was 19, Locker, did not play any NHL games a season ago in the pandemic-shortened season. Baravari sprinkles this one down low. A strange bounce there, played from harm by Victor Hedman. all-world defender for Tampa Bay, wears 77 in white.
He was a big part of their win against Detroit, the way he turned it on and played like Hedman, the Norris Trophy winner.
Stamkos zooming in, crisscrossing with Cirelli. A snapshot on the way that was blocked. We've crossed the 3-minute mark of the opening period. Hedman getting downhill. He'll fire a boomer that went wide. Big rebound taken through center by Ovechkin off of his 4-point performance on opening night. Kuznetsov finds Ovechkin. The relay to the front, deflected wide. Wilson tried to chip it to the goal mouth. Defended there by Ruda. Wilson skip a man on through the seam. Play it up top. Van Riemsdyk waiting for that screen to develop. Didn't pull the trigger. Backpedals neatly across the line. Then a penalty call coming up against Tampa Bay as the Bolts go shorthanded.
It's going to be a hold, I think, against Killorn right at the blue line. We'll see the call from the official. Killorn's not going to like it. Capitals' good hustle draw the first power play.
Lightning, number 17, 2 minutes hooking.
It's going to be a hook against Killorn. The Caps will take it. Alexander Ovechkin, the left side of the screen. Nice depth pass across. Lets her fly right off the defenseman. And just wide. The hooking call there on TBR. Nice spinorama to try to elude Killorn. Sends him to the box for the hook.
In the regular season last year, Tampa Bay 36-17-3. The Bolts took the most penalties per game of any team in the league. You look at the special teams numbers for these two units a season ago. Two teams with terrific power plays. The Washington power play, a huge story against the Rangers back on Wednesday, 3 for 6.
That'll do it. That's what they've got to continue to work on. And the power play is so important to this team over the last decade, and it doesn't miss a beat, it seems, season after season.
Kuznetsov rolling through center. Yevgeny Kuznetsov gets the line. Finagles his way around Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Kuznetsov plays the boards for Ovechkin. Deal it down low for Oshie. Kuznetsov looking topside there, and this will force Schultz, who had a power play goal back on Wednesday, to retrace his steps. Schultz led the team with 6 shots against the Rangers locker. All of them came in the second period. Turnover. Chernak will send it on down.
Not very pretty on the entries so far against Tampa Bay. They're very aggressive. They'll throw out 3 and 4 units to stay fresh. They always seem to have good legs when it comes to the PK.
Lars Eller galloping through center. Sends it cross corner. Wilson digging in. Eller there with Tom Wilson. Back to the point. Carlson. John Fand on his first pass attempt. A relay from Ovechkin that whistles off the outside of the post. He had Vasilevsky beaten from long range. Play to the boards. Eller. Tap passing continues. Work it around the horn for Carlson. Away from Palat. Wilson working the interior. He's the bumper guy for the moment. Wilson feeds it back. Carlson was going the other way, and the Caps will chase.
Carlson tried to set up the umbrella, and it came up straight rather than to the middle, forcing John to have to come back to collect.
Killorn with another 13 seconds in the sin bin. The Caps have had 1 shot on the power play. Lapierre didn't waltz through the defense. Tampa Bay clears off the glass and down. That should do it for Washington's initial power play of the game. Just crossed the 5.5-minute mark. No score in this one. Shots on goal are 2 apiece. Orlov will skip it in on one big bounce. Vasilevsky covers and gets the whistle.
On the power play, a good opportunity. Right side of the screen. None other than Alex Ovechkin. Just skims that net, beating Vasilevsky, but just wide on that play. Sergachev and company love to block a ton of shots, and that's why Ovi has to get that off in a hurry. Take a look at his numbers from last season.
Playing in NHL game number 1199 is the grade A. He has exactly 500 career power play points after his performance against the Rangers.
And he's not too far off in goals, moving past Dave Anderchuk, who's now part of Tampa Bay and their announced team.
Offensive zone draw, control for Washington. Hathaway pulls the trigger, had it blocked by Sergachev. Sergachev, who started the season 2 games for Tampa Bay, -7. He's way better than that.
He sure is. But that just shows you how difficult it is sometimes to play defense, bear down, play with details defensively.
Hagelin hooks off, lets it fly. That's deflected away. Vasilevsky was at the top of the paint.
And I always just used to blame it on my line mates.
Yeah, it's all your fault. A hand pass here, stoppage in play. They're going to bring the draw outside. 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the contest. We'll get you back downtown right after these words. Tampa Bay and Washington, 0-0. Blocker during the commercial timeout. Fans were saluting head coach Peter Laviolette. Lightning and Caps no score early on. Peter with a victory against the Rangers Wednesday. Now #1 all time when it comes to wins by an American-born head coach in the NHL.
674 now, moved ahead of our buddy John Tortorella. He did it in 116 fewer games than John. When he hits 700, Joe, which will come shortly, he will become just the 10th ever coach in the National Hockey League to that milestone.
Two teams squaring off. Eastern Conference rivals, Washington and Tampa Bay. Just shy of the 7-minute mark if you're tuning in a little late. Unofficially, we have the Caps leading in terms of shots on goal 4-1. Nikita Kucherov surrounded there by Washington defenders. Puck dribbles back to the point. Ruda got cleaned out by Hathaway. On the Toyota League leaderboard, Peter Laviolette stands alone now.
Yeah, one ahead of Torts. Mike Sullivan, 352 behind him. Bilesma and Badger Bob Johnson. Brought to you by Toyota tonight. American head coaches' career numbers.
Rocking the red, white, and blue. Laviolette has done that a time or two as both a player and a coach for the United States national team and Olympic squads. Orlov's pass played to center. Hathaway straightened up by Jan Ruda. He rides shotgun with Victor Hedman, the 30-year-old Swede. 5 assists in the first 2 games for Big 77. Point swivels away from his opposite number, Hathaway. Hathaway content to play a cycle game with Hagelin. Jensen walks the line and fires. That floats high on Vasilevsky.
That's the best way to play against the point line with Kucherov and company. You've got to keep the puck in the zone. You've got to make them play defense.
Point closing in, 2-on-1 with Palat. Palat off the fake to the goal mouth. Stop there. Rebound was loose for a moment. Palat gathers in. His pass deflected by Jensen. Chernak, long way from the cooker. Bothered there by Hagelin. Caps need a breather here. Dowd will reverse. Jensen with open ice. Driving back. Dowd launches it on down. Vasilevsky forced to play it. There's no icing as Sprong leaves it south of the goal line. Chernak, who would have been a World Junior defense partner with Faravari. Snapshot that's sent wide by Ross Colton. Colton, the man who had the cup clincher for the Tampa Bay Lightning in their most recent win. Maroon and a wraparound to the goal mouth there at the top of the paint. Maroon in good shape, coming to camp some 15 pounds lighter than when he was celebrating his 3rd straight Stanley Cup win.
That's unfathomable. It's amazing. You know, he wins one in St. Louis, wins one with Tampa Bay. He's a real grinder. He's a horse in that 4th line, utilized mostly as a checking role, but scores some big goals, timely goals for this Tampa Bay team.
Belmar sends out Schuster. He'll send it hard around. Bouncing behind Vitek Vanacek. Loose puck belongs to Washington. Skipping down the wing, Sprong hears the bench calling for the change. He'll dump it in. Just over 11 minutes with which to work in the first. McDonough scoops it on through. It gets past Carlson and down. And this will be icing against Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, a couple of good looks in their last shift. Point Kucherov and their winger Palat really can cause problems. Here they are here. Great slide. Timing's everything, and that was Jensen. He threw off that play just enough for Hagelin to come back on the wrap. There's the big fella, their go-to guy. He really, really is a good leader for this hockey team. Anytime you have a guy like Maroon on your team, you know you're going to be protected, and you know he's going to play hard each and every game.
He's seeing time on a forward line with Corey Perry. I think back to the Duck days. McDonough fires, stick save. Vanacek confidently there at the top of his crease. Sherry the other way for Washington. Off the end wall, Vasilevsky gets involved to pepper it away from Oshie. Through center, Stamkos, who had a couple of PPGs in that crazy win in Detroit a couple nights ago. Killorn, wonderful Stanley Cup playoff numbers. Stamkos tried to chip that around a defender. Karlsson's there to help. 5-on-5 play continues. Caps had the initial power play tonight. It fizzled. Faravari digging in. 4 and 5 players in that scrum. Karlsson emerges with the puck. LaPierre, outlet for Sherry. And Sherry will deal it in.
Nice job by Hendricks there, making sure he had good positioning to allow an outlet pass up the middle. And youngsters that try to learn the center position in the NHL, it's not that easy, but he makes it look easy because of his hockey IQ. Beautiful outlet from Karlsson, and he's able to break out of the zone.
LaPierre's early claim to fame, that tally in his first ever NHL game. He played only 10 minutes in the contest. Kuznetsov breezing in 2-on-2. Kuznetsov drops it just out of reach for Tom Wilson. The Lightning love to counterattack. Kucherov to a vacant wing, and then he got cleaned out. Kuznetsov elevates this pass for Orlov. McDonough there to keep tabs on him. We've crossed the midway mark of the opening period. No score, 0-0, 4-2. Shots on goal favoring the Caps. McDonough at the end of his shift, the head man for Sprong. Sprong drifting wide, looks for the trailer. Perfectly on time. Schultz lets it go. That boomer goes wide. Van Riemsdyk topside, work it for Sprong. Chased there by Ruda. Working back to the point position, it's Schultz. Tried to team up with his D partner there, Van Riemsdyk. Eller, good centering pass that explodes away from Mantha as the Lightning will clear.
I know it's only just a small sample, but 4 periods into this season, the Caps are a much faster team. They're placing the puck to make each other skate, and they're also moving the puck better than last season.
Down low, Belmar, beaten to the punch there by Vanacek. Locker, you and Alan May, Brent Johnson, Carl Alsner, you always talk about letting the puck do the work. That helps you look faster.
It does. And notice how many cross-corner passes there's been entering the zone. Instead of trying to turn the puck over, make your other winger skate. Put pressure on their D.
Joseph off the turnover, had that one blocked by Faravari, and it's out of play. Just over 8 minutes with which to work in the opening period. Tampa Bay coming to town. Corey Perry going to the goal. Vanacek waiting.
Caps and Lightning still scoreless in the first. Kevin, is there any difference in the way you want to defend a Point and Kucherov the way you did against a Panarin and a Zibanejad on Wednesday?
Well, but pretty similar, obviously. I mean, those guys are the skilled players. Those guys that you really have to be aware of when they're on the ice, especially leaving the zones early, making sure that we don't get caught in those situations.
Kevin, thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate the cooperation once again from the Washington Capitals coaching staff. Great to have Al Koken with us once more with the NHL on NBC Sports Washington. Joe and Craig up top shouting out thanks to all the men and women in our technical crew. Wonderful friends and colleagues who've been with us for many, many years. As we enjoy Tampa Bay and Washington tonight, Ruda closing. Had that wrister denied before it reached Vitek Vanacek. Killorn shaking loose from Karlsson. Ruda lets it go. Vanacek makes the save. He absorbs that blast and covers the rebound.
Long-range blast. Ruda trying to tee one up. He got a lot of mustard on this one through a screen. Notice the layers there. Number 1, the forward trying to block it. In front of the net, Faravari trying to block it. In front of the net, Cirelli trying to get a piece of it. Hard for a goaltender to detect that puck. I like his rebound control. So far, so good against Cirelli and company.
Jan Ruda in his 3rd full season with Tampa Bay. He was acquired from Chicago in a trade for Slater Cuckoo. I mention it only because I like saying cuckoo. Orlov heading out of his own zone. Ultra durable defender for Washington, bouncing it along, and at the line this is offside against Washington. Craig, we have these game notes presented by Volkswagen. Wednesday's opener putting the Caps in the headline.
They select the Rangers. Alex Ovechkin passed Marcel Dion for 5th most goals all time. LaPierre, the youngest Caps player to score a goal since Andre Burakovsky back in 15. And way to go, Peter Laviolette. He became the winningest American-born head coach with his 674th win.
Neutral zone draw here. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first, separating us from Integrate Intermission Live. Alexa Landestoy and Alan May at the studio tonight. Vasilevsky with a glove save, and Andre will cover this for a whistle.
They call him the Big Cat. He sure looks big in the net, and he's looked pretty steady so far against the Caps. They've had a couple of good looks. Vasilevsky makes sure he gobbles up his rebound also. He's the first goalie to play every minute in back-to-back cups since Ken Dryden in the late 70s. And over the last 2 calendar years, Joe, 142 starts.
So good, so talented. Vezina winner back in 2019, Conn Smythe winner in 2021. He's never really had much success, though, against Washington.
No, he hasn't. But he is the best goalie in the game now.
Without question in my mind. Even though he didn't win the Vezina Trophy last year.
Yeah.
No offense, Flower. At center, turning Kuznetsov. Ovechkin double teamed along the wall. Nothing in this one. Just about 7 minutes to go in the opening period. Maroon putting some forechecking pressure on. As you see, Van Riemsdyk alleviates some of that pressure. Didn't get it out. Maroon, big body along the boards.
He's one of the best along the dashers.
Hard hit there, delivered on the wall. Compliments of Tom Wilson. Ovechkin storming through center. Alex Ovechkin on the crisscross, leaves to Kuznetsov. Tap, Kuznetsov right up the gut. Stick save by Vasilevsky.
Maroon and Wilson talked all the way to their benches.
Ovechkin didn't have a clean handle there at the end of the shift. He's skating to the bench, shaking his right hand. Back at the line, this is offside against Washington as Kuznetsov puts up a protest.
He's putting up a protest because he thought Tampa Bay passed it back into their zone, which would make it onside. The referees and linesmen disagree. Tom Wilson, 2 big hits already, one on Kucherov and this one along the wall on McDonough, their stud defenseman, and that's why he had a little talk with Maroon as they engaged with one another at their end of their shift heading to the benches.
Wilson annually among the hit leaders in the National Hockey League.
Maroon
right
looks
there with
tough, by the way.
Oh, he's got it all working.
Yeah,
he's still got the Stanley Cup beard going, right?
Yes, he does.
Sergachev sprinkles this one to center. They look for Point. Point forced away by Lars Eller. Faravari with some get up and go through center. He'll scoop it right to Vasilevsky. Plays it away. Sergachev. This one's dealt through center and on through. Kucherov angling out of the corner. Hits the brakes. Nikita Kucherov on the pass. It'll get away from Sergachev. Back onto the Tampa Bay side of the table. Mantha in hot pursuit, tailing Sergachev to the end wall.
Kucherov's first taste of the National Hockey League was back in 2013 Caps Rangers playoffs when his parents took him to the MSG to watch the Caps and Rangers in that playoff game.
And he's been a thorn in Washington's side once he was granted time in the NHL. Kucherov plays it on back for Schuster. Towering defender. They work this bump set through neutral as Cirelli scales in. John Cooper's team on the road, squaring off with Washington. 0-0. 5 minutes to go in the first. Jensen hogtied along the boards. Help comes. It's LaPierre. Ran right into Schuster. Cirelli hot foots it into the zone with Stamkos. Stamkos backhand denied by Vanacek, and he'll cover.
I'm glad that guy was on his backhand, not his forehand, for Vanacek and the Caps.
Vanacek with his 4th save of the period. Stamkos turned away in D.C. Thompson Creek presents this window of opportunity to review Alex Ovechkin from Wednesday.
Adds to his legend. Here's a power play marker. Picks up that juicy rebound and buries it. And here's a Kuznetsov bank shot. Goes to Ovi. That is a shorty. The first time in his career that he accomplished that. The big boy was ready on Wednesday against the Rangers.
Without fail. No score in this hockey game. Just quickly checking the out-of-town board. Pittsburgh's got 4 on the board against Chicago right off the jump.
Goal scoring's up in the first week and a half here, or first week.
Van Riemsdyk swooping out of the corner for the Caps in red. Hedman on the takeaway. Maroon for Corey Perry. Veteran, hard-nosed customer, former NHL MVP, wears 10 in the white.
They know him well. They faced him the last 2 playoffs.
Point position. Working it around there, Hedman getting help from Colton. Perry gets involved off the cycle. Hedman finds Sergachev. Snapshot deflected wide by Ross Colton. Lars Eller there to defend, and now transition to offense. Skipping it wide of Vasilevsky. Washington in the middle of a line change. Eller looking over the shoulder. Centering pass came right on through.
That's the 5th time in my count that they went indirect after crossing the red line. They're really trying to put heat on the Tampa Bay defense. And as I said earlier in the telecast, trying to make your wingers and your partners go hard with the skating part of their game, and it causes some turnovers.
Capitals had that pretty indirect goal against the Rangers, right? The Kuznetsov bank to Ovechkin. Kucherov to Point. Point tried to return it, and a sliding block was made by Carlson.
Overpassing, I would say. Fortunate for the Caps.
McDonough plays it on out there. This will be dropped back into the corner. Faravari, an ice level look at the youngster playing for Carlson and back out through. All the way down into the Lightning zone. No icing here. Hagelin putting up a fuss with 3:20 to go in the period. Vasilevsky made a stick save. Mark him down for 9 in this opening frame.
And that's F1 going hard to the corner, going for those loose pucks, not standing and thinking, instead skating, and that leads directly to another chance against Vasilevsky.
Belmar got clobbered by Wilson at center. Orlov sending it for Tom. He'll dump it in. Chernak plays it down the alleyway for the very speedy Matthew Joseph. Joseph is one to watch when the Lightning are shorthanded. He had 2 shorthanded breakaways he did not convert in Detroit. Chernak's wrister deflected down on wide of Vanacek. Van Riemsdyk with Schultz.
He wasn't suspended for that hit on Larkin?
He was on the receiving end.
I know. Larkin 1 game for the punch to the head of Joseph.
Oshie, nice cutback move. TJ looks, finds Ovechkin. Alex getting wide to protect the puck. Ovechkin centering pass. Not a good one there. Stamkos will go the other way. Turning and burning 3-on-3. Stamkos hits the trailer. Killorn! That rocket that's fought off by Vanacek and then tucked in on the rebound. The Caps are saying it was in the safety netting. The Caps are saying it was out of play. The Lightning continued and tucked it in with 2:09 to go.
And we're going to take a look at this one. The coaching staff looking down. TJ Oshie right over there. You made that point right off the start when the puck got caught up in the meshing after the Killorn slap shot. And then he says, hey, the play's continuing. I'm going to put it in myself. Here's a look at it. Here comes the Killorn shot. It's a chop shot, and it goes high and gets caught in the meshing, or it would have came out a lot faster, and then on the doorstep he just puts it in. There it is coming down late, which means it hit the meshing. If it hits the glass, it's going to come out in a lot faster fashion.
Cirelli right there to crowd Vanacek, and then off the carom, tucked in by Killorn. Refs coming over to talk with Peter Laviolette. Referees tonight, Furman South and Dean Morton.
And I think they're going to award a goal here.
Craig, I could swear in the past there was a game involving maybe the Kings, maybe the Sharks out west, and this play is...
I don't know if it's reviewable,
to
though.
me, it's in the safety netting for sure.
Yeah, but is it reviewable?
Well, it's about to be.
And here they come. This is a coach's challenge.
If I'm not mistaken, this was made reviewable after an incident a few seasons ago.
Yes.
It involved one of the California teams.
And the referees obviously said no to the Capitals bench that we saw it hit the glass. But to me, we couldn't pick up the puck hitting the meshing. And that's a big factor here.
You have to have a definitive look to overturn it. The call on the ice is a good goal.
Just the way it came off the meshing, it's 100% in my mind that it hit it. Here comes the slap shot. Check it up, coming up and over the meshing and glass, and then it just bounces down late. To me, that means it went into the webbing, got caught there, came down, they continued the play. One more look.
It's above the height of the glass there. You assume momentum would carry it into the meshing, and then the pitchback comes back for Killorn.
Everybody in red stopped playing, so they knew it hit the meshing.
Referees South and Morton on the line with Hockey Ops in Toronto as they make this assessment off the coach's
Is this
challenge.
one of those situations where even though you see the goalie cover the puck across the goal line, but you don't have complete video, they can still call it no goal?
You can't make an assumption.
Correct.
But every look, this look especially, look at the trajectory.
That's definitely high on the
trajectory of that
mesh.
shot would lead you to believe it's in the meshing, but you don't see it hit the meshing.
But it's also the way it bounces,
Yes,
Joe. It does not come off the glass like that.
I agree with you. We're about to find out.
After the coach's challenge, it was determined that the puck went out of play prior to the goal, so we have no goal.
They got it right.
Yes, they did. Were they listening to us?
John Cooper understands. This game remains 0-0 with 2:10 to go in the first. Coach Cooper continuing to ring the ear of referee Dean Morton. Face-off to come at the offensive end for Tampa Bay. When the Lightning are going right, Locker, their plays develop so quickly. Seemingly even man, right? It's like 3-on-3, and then all of a sudden something creates that odd man rush.
They do a lot of scissor crossovers down low. They move the puck laterally. They cause real problems. At the top of the show, I said they need good, making sure they have handoffs defensively. If you do lose your player, you need support against a team like Tampa Bay.
Successful coach's challenge for Peter Laviolette and the Caps, keeping this a 0-0 game. Dowd rolling through center. Nick will place this back behind Vasilevsky. Shots on goal are 9-4 unofficially, if you're just tuning in with us this Saturday night on NBC Sports Washington. On the go, Hedman, who had the 4 helpers in the Motor City. Hedman hits the brakes. Dishes it cross ring. The feed to the front. The high tip play for point. Goes over top of the cage. Chernak pickpocketed there by Hagelin and Hathaway. Carl Hagelin wants a line change. Hathaway remains out there. Now he will be substituted for. Colton breezing in on the forecheck against Schultz. Lost it to Maroon. Final minute of this opening period. That's deflected and also up into the safety netting. Folks, we have this from the promo department. Caps fans, Xfinity Mobile delivers fast nationwide 5G on the most reliable network. Save on your wireless bill with Xfinity Mobile.
That guy's pretty reliable right there.
No doubt about it.
He's been fun, hasn't he, over our time calling games?
Fun.
I mean, every game we know he's going to do something special.
He's just incredible. He turned 36 last month. Now number 5 all time in the NHL goal scoring department. Final 48 seconds of this opening period. Turnover, closing. Kuznetsov whistled it wide. Another turnover. Ovechkin feeds. Long wrister deflected. Fought off by Vasilevsky. That point drive from Schultz was redirected. Maroon gets it past Schultz and down. No icing here. Van Riemsdyk lining up with Perry. Schultz takes it away with 20 seconds remaining in the frame. Hedman guides it to Cirelli just out of his reach. Carlson to swing. John, who was very productive in the preseason from a goal-scoring department. Annually into double figures when it comes to goals. That's usually the tale for 74 in the red as this opening period comes to its end.
Yeah, well done by the Caps. 10-4 in shots. They get a call back of a Tampa goal that hit the meshing. Vanacek, again, very solid. He had some looks, but he held down the fort on their 4 shots.
Off to the dressing room. These two teams will catch their breath. We are done with the one in our nation's capital. And we are getting you set for Integrate Intermission Live. The Caps and the Lightning, always entertaining. Just ask Slapshot. Time for us to send you back to the studio between periods 1 and 2. Integrate Intermission Live. We turn things over to Alexa Landestoy and Alan May. Back in the day, Capitals head coach Peter Laviolette, Captain USA. 2 times as a player in the Olympics for the United States. The Olympic Games in Calgary and in Lillehammer. Tonight, he is the bench boss for the Caps in the 0-0 matchup with Tampa Bay. Fans having a great time at Capital One Arena. Folks, you can pick from a set of pre-selected plans or build your own schedule to see the Capitals at Capital One with a partial plan. Choose between a 5 or a 10-game plan. Receive discounted ticket prices, interest-free payment plans, and more. Visit washcaps.com/partials or call 202-266-CAPS. Craig Laughlin, here's the BMW Ultimate Moment.
It was special. Hendricks got his first National Hockey League goal in front of his family and girlfriend. A beautiful pass, by the way, by TJ right here. And then he just fires it. And the celly was something to remember forever. That will be forever on his shelf. The puck, the celebration, the boys loved it.
The Ultimate Moment presented by your Washington, D.C. BMW Centers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hendricks Lapierre back for period number 2. See his numbers a season ago in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Locker, we understand that dad, brother, sister, and girlfriend are still in town and at the game tonight.
That's great for him. I mean, can't think of anything more special than have family in the building for games.
Off and running in period number 2. No score between Washington and Tampa Bay. It was an entertaining opening frame. The Lightning thought they had a 1-0 lead. A goal from Alex Killorn that was overturned after a coach's challenge. Loose puck here, right up the gut. Backhand, Vanacek the save on the dangerous Stamkos.
Fabulous stop because Stamkos was looking to open up the legs of Vanacek and he quickly shut him down. Sort of a broken play, passing play entering the zone. Looked like the Caps had it in control. Feravari reaches for it, then can't clear, and here comes Stamkos trying to go across the seam and then put it 5-hole, but it's quickly closed up. Beauty here early to start the second.
In the last 4 years, Tampa Bay has been the most successful road team in the NHL. Steven Stamkos, a career that's closing in on 900 games. Of course, he's missed a lot of time due to injuries throughout his 14 seasons as a pro. Could it really be that we are 10 seasons now removed from his 60-goal campaign back in 2011-12?
Who would have thought that?
Hathaway to draw against point. Vanacek peeking to his right. A stalemate along the wall, and Dowd will chip it back into the Tampa Bay zone. Hedman parked behind Vasilevsky. Hedman, who set up the game winner for Tampa Bay in the win in overtime. The tremendous comeback against Detroit. Point lets it fly. Vanacek kneels to make that pad save. Dowd takes the rebound through center and dishes it in.
And Dowdline's done a pretty good job so far. That was a high danger one there, though. They stretch past it, then throw it wide. Created a problem for the Caps.
The biscuit belongs to Dowd. Nice look. Hagelin closing in, fires. That was broken up in front. And Kucherov will skate away with Palat. 2-on-3 through center. Andre Palat with Hedman jumping up to join the rush. Kucherov sends it south of the goal line. Caps pouncing on that. Sprong able to get it clear with the help of Orlov back into the Tampa Bay end. Caps are in double figures in shots with 10. Lightning unofficially have 6 against Vitek Vanacek. Schuster breaks this one along to Maroon, bothered by Schultz. Colton continues the thrust. Only as far as Lars Eller, who plays NHL game number 800 tonight. 358 of those with the Caps. The long stretch. Sprong waiting for the carom. Vasilevsky bunts it to the boards. Stuff attempt here. Vasilevsky's going to get the glove to cover up on that.
Trying to put pressure on their D to make them face and eat some glass on the attack for Mantha and guys. Stretch passes are critical for both these clubs to generate speed and offense. Here's that quick up by Schultz. just misses finding the man Sprong. But look at how it creates the legs to churn, the legs to get in there by Sprong, who's a fast forward, Joe. It just opens up things offensively when you do those type of plays.
Just the second time ever Daniel Sprong has faced the Tampa Bay Lightning in his 5 seasons as a pro. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare excused from the dot. Bellemare playing with his 4th different team now. Oshie gets the draw. Schultz going to have to vacate with Lapierre through center. Out wide to Sherry, canceled by Chernak. Chernak leaves it on the boards, and this will bounce to neutral. Oshie comes cross rink for Schultz. On target to Van Riemsdyk. All the way down for an icing against Washington. Folks, it's time for some takeout. The Taco Bell take goes Danish.
It sure does, buddy. Take a look at Lars Eller, his 800th career game, and the second Danish-born player to play 800 or more. The leader among Danish players is Frans Nielsen.
There are currently 5, I believe, 5 players from Denmark in the NHL. Craig Laughlin will brag that there are 43% Canadians in the NHL.
Overall, in the history of the NHL, there have been 16 Great Danes play our game.
Hedman looking to Kucherov as Kucherov gets badgered by Sherry right in front of the Washington bench. Van Riemsdyk on to Oshie. Oshie one-on-one, blocked off by Hedman. Just shy of the 3-minute mark in the second. Still no score, 0-0. Point. So great at getting into the zone with pressure. Drops it off on the feed there. Great stop by Vanacek. He robbed Hedman. Kucherov at point position. Lost the handle for a moment. Send it down low. Stop attempt. Vanacek with another big stop there. And he'll cover after he bested Palat.
And the top trio doing some damage here to start the second period. Relatively quiet in the first. Palat, Point, and Kucherov being double shifted by their coach, Cooper, and they're getting some good looks against the Caps here to start the second. Sergachev, nice pass up, and there's the Hedman redirect on his strong side, Joe. That's very hard to do when you're a left shot to direct that to the net. The second save in front of the net again, it's Palat with a quick turnaround. Palat last year, 46 points on the season. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he's a UFA that a lot of teams would like to look at the end of this season.
Palat, native of the Czech Republic, he was second best for Tampa in terms of points in the regular season. The pandemic shortened 56-game version a year ago. Garnet Hathaway has it for Washington. Moves the puck down the wing to Hagelin in stride. The drop pass gets caught in the skates of the referee. Tumbling towards the corner, Chernak able to get it out for Tampa. Cirelli couldn't get away, and there's an injured Lightning. It's McDonough behind the play. Ryan McDonough in need of repair.
I think he got caught up with Hagelin, I thought, on the initial dump in. And we'll see how he's going to be as he's being looked at by the training staff.
Making his way slowly and dabbing at the side of his face. Back to the Tampa Bay bench.
He's a warrior. A lot of teams he would be top 2 here in Tampa. He's 4. And then you'll see the stick coming around. It looked like of his own teammate. That to me looked like Chernak's stick catching McDonough as 4 players got all wrapped up behind the net. Here comes Chernak, and the stick's going to come in and clip his defensive partner, and that's why he's off for repairs.
Bad luck. It just gets underneath that visor. Just enough. Scary when that happens. 3 minutes and 17 seconds into period 2. The Caps and the Lightning this Saturday. 14 games locker today. It'll be the busiest game, or the busiest day of games this month.
And 4 teams making their debuts tonight, so every team would have played a game as of late tonight.
Hedman gliding out of his own zone. A long stretch is taken out of the air by Stamkos, then gloved by Vanacek.
How do you do that? You've got to be an elite player, and Stamkos definitely is. Right out of midair, like a lacrosse catch. He knocks it down and then just fires the puck. As a youngster, he tells the story that he never could shoot as a kid. But it was his hard work and working with a shooting coach and having help with all his coaches growing up that has made him the shooter that he is. And much like Ovechkin, he's underrated as a passer. Ovi's improved his passing with his career, and so has Stamkos. They're not just shooters anymore. They are the complete package.
Both of those guys recognized for their lethal shots. Eller crisscrossing with Oshie. Oshie knifing in, dangles and fires, and Vasilevsky was right there, standing in his way.
Yeah, right to the belly. You know when the goalie's playing well, when you're on the bench, when the shots seem to hit the belly of every shot you take, and that's been the case for the Caps and for Tampa Bay. It's been a defensive postured game. Here's Oshie cutting to the middle, getting a little lateral step on Cirelli, the forward, on the overlap. That creates speed and opens up some lanes. And TJ's got a darn good release also, right to the chest there of their goaltender, Vasilevsky.
That was Washington's first shot of the period. Tampa Bay had the first 5 in the second. Caps get control. Wrist shot from Van Riemsdyk. Broke the hockey stick of Corey Perry. Wilson takes it in, but this is whistled for offside against Washington.
Sort of a break there. Corey Perry might have had a step on the D because it looked like the puck was going to bounce over the Capitals defender, and Corey Perry, not in the twilight of his career, may not have the foot speed that he used to have, but could have had a chance to get past everybody. There's a look at his twig. Over 1,000 games, 4 away from 1,100, 14 away from 400 goals, lots of hymns, a Hart and Richard trophy back in the day.
Anaheim, Dallas, Montreal, and Tampa, the 4 teams with which Corey has worked.
I thought last year in the playoffs he might have been one of the best halves on a continuous basis. It seemed every playoff game he did something positive.
The edge tracking showing you point winning 5 of the first 8 faceoffs he's taken tonight, as Hagelin works a cycle with Dowd.
And that's not usually a strong point of their game.
Point position. Orlov shimmies down the dasher. Kucherov right there in his hip pocket. Dowd feeds it on top. Hagelin covering, lets it fly. It's blocked by Chernak. Dowd wrestling along the back boards. It squirts loose. Hathaway fires. That was erased by Sergachev. Mikhail Sergachev in the shooting lane. All the way down here for an icing against the Bolts. 15:24 to go in the second.
A hard matchup for the guys in red against their line, against John Cooper's team. John Cooper, by the way, I didn't believe this stat, but he's the longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League. Doesn't seem to have been around that long, but he's re-upped on a long-term contract. Very lucrative, they're saying, out of Tampa Bay.
The NHL has never been a league known for job security when it comes to head coaches.
Correct.
As Point gets ready for this draw. Evgeny Kuznetsov in there for Washington. Kuzi lost 10 of 15 against the Rangers. He gets this one, though, back. Carlson fires, gloved by Vasilevsky. 0-0 hockey game. Time for some Duncan-fueled performance. Locker, these 2 squads have been very successful the past half-dozen years.
Since 2015, 1-2. The Caps 2 better than Tampa Bay. The Penguins, the Bruins, and the Blues make the grade tonight on our fueled performance, sponsored by Duncan.
It's a Washington team that's won the Metro Division the last 5 seasons. The last time there was a Metro Division. Washington playing in the Mass Mutual East a season ago. Did not win that bracket. Kuznetsov finding Faravari. Wrister through traffic, tumbles to the corner. 0-0 hockey game, 25 minutes in the festivity. Hedman.
That's unfair, by the way, to be that big and to be able to skate like that.
You've heard me say it as Perry works in. This is offside against Tampa Bay. I think the Lightning have 4 of the 10 best hockey players in the world. Vasilevsky,
yep,
Hedman, Kucherov, and I put Point.
I do too.
It's hard to beat a team that has that many top talents.
A couple of former Caps behind their bench. Yeah. There's Robbie Zettler on this side at the far end next to Coop. Is none other than a former captain in Jeff Helper.
Nikita Kucherov, who didn't play at all in the regular season.
Might have been the best interview I've ever heard, winning after a Stanley Cup.
He didn't pull any punches.
No, he did. He had a lot of fun, didn't he?
62 points in his last 48 playoff games. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay 2 times a defending Stanley Cup champ. Last team to do it 3 in a row, Locker, would have been the Dynasty era New York Islanders of the 80s.
I still have bruises over that.
Van Riemsdyk plays it back behind. Oshie, smart looking outlet there for Mantha. As Schultz gallops through center, Van Riemsdyk will clear in.
Well, these teams have won 3 of the last 4 cups overall playing tonight.
Mix in the Blues and you've got the quartet. Hedman's pass is on target through center. Hedman on the crisscross, working to his backhand. Jensen there to straighten him up. Long stretch. Orlov for Mantha, twisting him around on that entry pass. Gathered by Cirelli, who lost his balance. We continue to play 5-on-5. Washington's had the only power play in this game. And that's good news because the Tampa Bay power play is ruthless.
I think both the coaches probably had the same speech. I think we have to play defense tonight. And I think we have to play with details. And that's what we're seeing. That's why it's scoreless.
Sherry turns away from Schuster. Pass back to point position, winds up about 6 rows in the spectator seats. 13:29 to go in the second period. Washington and Tampa Bay 0-0. Pride of Potomac. Jeff Halpern, the former Capital captain, assistant coach to John Cooper these days with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 0-0 in the second period. It's time for our Indeed player resume. Locker, Tampa's number 88 doesn't post his best numbers against Washington.
No, the Caps seem to have his numbers. You look at it, 3.70, 897, 409. The rest of the NHL haven't found a way to beat this guy. 2.47, 920, 693. He is arguably the best in the biz, and he's stopped a lot of pucks here tonight. 12 so far, a lot of them hitting his belly.
Only 20 saves in that crazy 7-6 overtime win over the Wings at Little Caesars Arena a couple nights ago.
For 6-1 all time against the Caps coming into tonight's action.
27-year-old staring to his left as Oshie tries to beat Cirelli, and Cirelli has lost 4 of his 5 draws tonight. Lapierre slugs it into the corner. Hendrix Lapierre, speaking of faceoffs, was 0 for 5 against the Rangers in his NHL baptism. Stamkos takes it on the fly. Stamkos turning in. Faravari took a great angle on him.
Well, you have to be a great skater to take that type of angle, and that's exactly what they like from Faravari. Even when a guy gets a step like Stamkos, he's able to recover, use his strength, and just simply knock them down, not allowing an opportunity to 91.
Hedman plays it quickly. Stamkos' pass intended for Killorn. Sherry for Washington puts it back into the Tampa Bay zone. Just shy of the 8-minute mark. Still 0-0 in D.C. on a Saturday night. Kucherov back to Ruda. Rister punched down by Vanacek. Oshie gobbles up the rebound. Took a sturdy hit there from Cirelli. On the go, Sherry getting wide on Ruda. Connor throwing some snow right into your living room. Sergachev on the reverse. Sherry anticipated that well. Sneak attack here from Dowd. He couldn't get it on his backhand in time. Hathaway from the severe angle, blocked off by Vasilevsky. Hagelin around the wall. Jensen point to point for Orlov. Measured there again by Killorn. Rotation play. Hathaway fires. Stick save Vasilevsky.
You couldn't script it any better. Beautiful coming off the circle was Hathaway. That was a perfect pinwheel cycle that had everybody in white looking around, and no one picked up Hathaway.
Washington shot counter up to 14. Jensen closing in. Lets it go. Pad save Vasilevsky. Rebound there. Hathaway tied up just enough by Ruda. And away comes Mikhail Sergachev, leaving to Andre Palat. Palat didn't dance between 2 caps as the Lightning completed change. It just snapshot wide there from Kucherov. A rolling puck foiled the sniper.
Jensen lucky there. He tried to put it up the middle, hit Kucherov's leg, and he had a great opportunity.
Hedman force feeding that one, snared by Orlov, chipping it ahead for Wilson, who's tied up with a big Tampa defender. 9 minutes clear in the second period. Perry fighting his way into a 2-on-1. Perry closes, fires. Vanacek made the save, and the rebound is out of play.
Tremendous patience there on that last shot. Off the flank, right off the left shoulder of Vanacek. The pinwheel cycle to the corner. Watch Hathaway throw it down, get it right back from Dowd. Look at the 3 guys in white caught above the puck. That allows the opportunity to half the way in front of the net. Couldn't get to the rebound. Good defensive play by Ruda, making that puck disappear into the corner. And that last chance, look at the poise of the goaltender. Holding firm and holding the short side. A lot of young goaltenders lean away from the short side. Gets a little tap after that save.
In tight here, a chance at the doorstep, digging for it. Vanacek sprawls across, makes the stop, and he'll cover.
Took a while for the whistle to go there, and the Capitals fortunate that they're so strong on the puck in the net was Vanacek. Maroon, Colton and company doing a lot of damage in the paint. That was a pig pile for sure, and somehow the Caps kept that one out of the net. Here it is right off the draw. They win it, they shoot it, but look at, they get behind the Caps D. That save right there is spectacular. Be able to kick that foot out on Perry. Perry's usually real good in tight. There's the move, forehand, backhand, back to forehand, and he doesn't have the power to propel it past those left leg of Vanacek.
Marvelous flexibility on display there from Vanacek. Perry is a big man. He's able to stick handle so wide.
He sure is.
That's what forced Vanacek to go full split. Vitek, 21 wins a season ago, led all NHL rookie netminders. Closing in on the midway mark of regulation time. In this 0-0 game. Colton swatting at the draw and being asked to leave the dot by the linesman Tyson Baker, who'll get these two centers adjusted. Dowd wins the defensive zone draw. He does that a lot for Washington. They fence for it along the boards. Colton thrusts it down low. Dowd there to defend. Faravari around the wall, and Hagelin chips it to center. Colton on to Perry. Perry will send it in. This is a Tampa Bay team, Locker, that's lost its entire third line, which was fabulous in the postseason last year, as well as Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, that was definitely their energy line. Lose Gord in particular, that's a big hole to fill.
Gord, Goodrow, Coleman, Johnson.
That's what happens when you win. You've got to make plays. You've got to trade Johnson for salary cap reason. The other three guys are looking to be free agents and buck up, and they got some big bucks.
Hedman plays on for Belmar. Canceled out there by Sherry.
Well, Gord, excuse me, was picked up by Seattle.
Ruda plays a dasher. Lightning bolts in the white sweaters. Joseph with the great speed working down the wing. Gets to the outside there, measured well, and finished by Carlson. 9.5 to go in the second. Oshie, nice catch from skate to stick, but not going to get through Hedman. Belmar working back out through center with Chernak. On target. Snapshot here from the wing. First time we've called the name of Boris Kachuk, 13 in the white, who hails from Waterloo, Ontario.
First ever National Hockey League game. Getting into the lineup, Radish the Scratch, another young guy they're trying to implement into their top four lines.
Orlov well up on the play, works out of the corner. Then gets flattened by Chernak. Ovechkin comes running after the big Tampa Bay defender. McDonough, steady as she goes. Ryan back in business after taking that high stick to the near the eye, the side of his face. McDonough still up on the play as Jensen hops out of the corner. Wilson knocked down by Killorn. 8.5 to go in the second.
That was sort of a counter hit. I think Killorn knew the big freight train number 43 was coming after him, and he made sure he bent his knees and got low to take that hit from Wilson.
Tom took the worst of that as Point plays it out. Sergachev spins through center. Kuznetsov gathers. Wilson looking for the late guy. Nobody home. Point 3-on-3, carving back through center. On the drop, Stamkos fires. That's over top of the cage. Hedman giving himself some breathing room. One hands it along, and Vanacek made the save on Kucherov.
Fabulous stop, best of the game. Kucherov coming off the bench like a flame, and he had a flamethrower there.
Nothing. Back to DC in just a few moments. Vitek Vanacek, full split.
This game is still scoreless in the second period with assistant coach Scott Arniel. Scott, you haven't seen the Tampa Bay Lightning since August of 2020. Do they look any different to you?
Well, they're two-time Stanley Cup champions, but they've made a lot of changes they've had to because of the salary cap. But this game here, this is end-to-end. This is wide open. Obviously, they got some high-octane offense, as do we. Both goaltenders been really good.
Scott, thanks so much.
You betcha.
Al, throughout this season, we look forward to the insights from Scott Arniel, Kevin McCarthy, Blaine Forsythe, Scott Murray, the goalie coach, Brett Lienhart, video coach for the Caps, all of them assisting head coach Peter Laviolette, who's watched Vitek Vanacek perform extremely well. Vitek, in Peter Laviolette's estimation, earned the starting job on opening night due to his training camp performance and preseason game performance. Ilya Samsonov is the understudy tonight to Vanacek. Brian Elliott, veteran netminder, sits second chair to Andrei Vasilevsky. Dowd sends it on around. Hathaway stokes this for Jensen. Through the screen, it sails wide. McDonough on the wing. Kucherov board to board. There's Palat. As Palat carves to the outside, Jensen stays right there at his chest. Hard hit comes, crossing over to the corner. Baravari will see Dowd work through center and casually pitch this one in to get a line change. The long stretch out of the reach of Maroon. No icing here. Vanacek sweeps it away to Carlson. 5-on-5 play continues. 7 minutes left in the second and nothing. There's been no scoring, but there have been plenty of scoring opportunities. Eller working wide. Canceled by Schuster. Around she comes for Perry. Perry working through center. One of the best chances in the second period belongs to him. That centering pass guided away. There's a penalty call coming up. Carlson was taken down. Tampa goes shorthanded.
I think it's going to be Colton on the attack there. He's got a piece of the side of John Carlson, and here comes a power play for the Caps. Tampa Bay has yet to have one. This will be the Caps' second. Colton heading to the box. Here's a look at it behind the net. Sure, they'll be calling maybe a little bit of a cross-check, and that's what they're bearing down on. There's been more cross-checks called this season than in years past because of that. Maybe goals are up because of the extra power play. It's Colton and doesn't like it. Both coaches and around the league, all coaches have addressed their players with the crackdown when it comes to the cross-check.
Second man advantage for Washington. They were 3 for 6 against the Rangers Wednesday. Last season on home ice, Locker, they were 30.6% effective. A chance to break the seal on the scoring this Saturday night. Carlson angles away from Belmar. Leaves it in his wake for Kuznetsov, who gains speed through center. Evgeny Kuznetsov on the send-in. Plays it on around, hopeful for Oshie. Carlson kept it in. Take away McDonough and cleared. Watch out for Joseph, as he had those 2 breakaways shorthanded in Detroit recently. Ovechkin, nice job to relieve him of the puck. And Oshie will carry through center. TJ off the zigzag. Kuznetsov is next. Evgeny Kuznetsov pinched along the boards by McDonough. Power play for another 108. Ovechkin one-timer. Stopped by Vasilevsky. Rebound Sergachev around the wall and out.
Good recovery there by the defenseman Sergachev, because they had some guys right in front of the net looking to pounce on that rebound. Vasilevsky, and the initial shots are very tough to elude him.
Hendricks Lapierre drops it into the corner. Sergachev peels away from the rookie. Hedman sends it on around. Wilson chasing it down in tight quarters there with Ovechkin, who is forced off the line. Alex comes wing to wing for Lapierre, crowded quickly by Hedman. Ovechkin around the wall. Hedman is everywhere, and he'll clear.
He sure is. Hendricks Lapierre must be pinching himself being on the Caps' second unit on the power play, Joe. He's very creative. He's nifty when he does get the puck, and he can elude defenders because of his quickness and tight turning ability.
Sends one for Wilson. Wilson didn't manage to get that through McDonough. Just 4 seconds left in the shorthanded situation. Colton's up at the penalty box door. 2 for 2 on the PK for this Tampa Bay Lightning team. They were great on the road, penalty killing a season ago, almost 86%. Off the pickpocket, it's Perry with Colton now. One-handing him away was Dmitry Orlov. 4 and change to go in the second, separating us from Integrate Intermission Live. Alexa Landestoy and Alan May in the studios tonight. They jam forward along the wall. Van Riemsdyk golfs at it. Trevor Van Riemsdyk will clear. Chernak speeds away from Sherry. Drops it back into Vanacek's neighborhood. Vitek will wander a little bit. Sherry tied up. Kuznetsov, or rather, Kucherov comes away with that puck looking for the trailer. This is Kuznetsov to clear. Vasilevsky leaves it. Sergachev off the boots of Kucherov.
And there's that hard match once again. It's Dowd's line against this Kucherov, Palat, and Stamkos, or excuse me, Kucherov and Point.
Closing to the front door. A stick save by Vanacek. Big rebound, sends away Dowd. There's a delayed penalty call now. Whistle behind the play.
Going up against the Caps, I would imagine here. Hathaway and company getting involved with Sergachev down low. Punches being doled out by both these teams in this scrum.
6'7" Andre Schuster looks over top of it all. 29 in the white. Back with a penalty call with you in just a moment. Folks, we hope that you'll show your school pride, celebrate with your fellow college and Caps fans at Caps College Series. All tickets purchased through the special link include a limited edition Capitals hat in your school colors. Visit washcaps.com/college series for more. The Capitals going a man down for the first time tonight. Carl Hagelin in the sin bin.
Bottom of the screen, you'll see the hold. There comes Kucherov trying to get to the middle. There he spins him around, grabs his shoulder, pulls him down. Hagelin rarely takes penalties. His 3 seasons with the Caps coming into this one, 10 minutes, 16 minutes, and 19 minutes. There he gets called with that one on Kucherov.
Kucherov, Point, Killorn, Stamkos, and Hedman, 5 on ice in white. Victor Hedman looking for Steven Stamkos, who had a couple of PPGs 2 nights ago in Detroit. They settle it on the outside, Kucherov. Hedman straight away. Kucherov bluffs the one-timer. Point is the inside guy in the bumper. Killorn will cause a lot of traffic in front. Kucherov, 2-man game with Killorn around Van Riemsdyk. Nice look away. Stamkos yanks it high. Kucherov on the reload. Tried to feed that one inside to Point. Blocked. Hedman straight away. Snapshot through the screen goes wide. Van Riemsdyk for Washington. Muscled there by Point. Around the wall, Stamkos able to keep it in. Power play for another 114 as Van Riemsdyk clears.
Pretty good. They're a 2-headed monster on their power play. Kucherov on one side, Stamkos on the other. The goaltender in particular has to be really aware of that. He's going to have to move both sides to see those shots coming.
Braden Point on the go, skipping to the outside on Feravari. Send it on around. Stamkos chipped it down low. Swiped by John Carlson, and he'll clear.
2 giveaways on the power play by Stamkos allows 2 easy clears by the Caps.
Hagelin's in the box another 42 seconds. Mikhail Sergachev, second wave on the power play for Tampa Bay, and this one is much more physical in front of the cage, led by Maroon and Perry. As Sergachev does not keep this one in, Yevgeny Kuznetsov breezing after him with 25 seconds left in the shorthanded situation. Washington picked up a shorthanded goal from Alex Ovechkin back on Wednesday for the first time in forever. Jensen will clear. Tampa Bay no shots so far as we get the whistle with 14 seconds left in the man advantage.
Forever, you mean 914 games since he last scored a shorty?
That was forever for Ovechkin, who says, I'm ready to kill whenever you want, coach.
I like to see Kuzi continue to kill. I think he's done a good job. They gave him some time in the preseason, the first game, and Kuznetsov showing his wheels. It's been the norm now. It used to be that specialists on the penalty kill. Now teams have learned that you've got to play your high skill guys too. I mean, you've got to have that combination that's going to often lead to a shorthanded goal.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk in conversation there with Tom Wilson through their gloved hands. They're a man down for another 13 seconds. Tampa Bay went 3 for 7 against Detroit Thursday. It was one of the primary reasons they were able to erase 2 different 3-goal deficits in that game. A game in which Tyler Bertuzzi scored 4 times for the Wings.
And he could have had 6.
Easily. Stamkos sends it on around to Kucherov. That was blocked. Now Wilson will rumble out 2-on-2 with Dowd. Hagelin joins them out of the box. That pass back for Dowd had him leaping to gather it in. 5-on-5 play, 70 seconds in the period. Ovechkin closing, fires, he scores! Alex Ovechkin.
For the Caps, it's all about competing on pucks and never give up. That puck was loose inside the blue line, and watch them work to free it up. There's Wilson. There's Ovi coming off the bench, and he just rips it. Hedman a little bit in the eyes of the goaltender Vasilevsky, but it's the way he shoots this puck. Look at him get separation. No, he has separation. That baby through the arm and catching glove. Ovechkin strikes first between Tampa and the Caps. Rocket, and he's on the board again.
No player in NHL history has scored more against Tampa Bay than Washington's grade 8.
733 and counting.
Being serenaded by the faithful inside of Capital One Arena. The Caps get the jump on Andrei Vasilevsky and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Only Colorado had more second period goals than Washington last year. At the line again! Ovechkin had that one off the post, off the goalie, and they're going to say in for the moment.
Vasilevsky thought he had it before it crossed the line completely.
Locker, the referees never made a point.
Correct.
The referees never pointed. The red light came on. The shot hit the post, it hit Vasilevsky, and went back towards the goal line. Did it completely cross?
They're going to look at it for sure the last minute of play. They're going to take a look and see if the puck completely crossed the goal line. Here's a good look coming right in your living room. Ovi gets the puck, gives and goes, and there it is, backside, and there's the puck. And it did not look from our vantage point that completely crossed the goal line.
Andrei Vasilevsky lunging back. And by that look, you would say it's not completely across the red line. This may give you a better impression.
That's a difficult one. A sliver, maybe.
That quick release explodes off the stick. Does it get all the way across that line?
Got to see that white. And that was closer. It looked like a sliver on that particular replay, Joe. It looked like a sliver of white.
Referee Furman South and Dean Morton once again under headset with hockey operations in Toronto. Does this puck completely cross the line?
It's too close to make that determination because the glove covers it at the perfect time for Vasilevsky. We'll have to wait and see on this one. They're looking long and hard, and here comes the call.
Veteran referee Dean Morton will make it.
After video review, it's been determined that the play is overturned. We have no goal. The puck did not completely cross the line.
Vasilevsky breathes a sigh of relief.
And there's another look as that big catching glove, to me, covers up probably the conclusive fact that it might have got completely over the red line. You have to see white, and on that particular play, maybe a sliver, maybe not. They've looked at it enough. No goal.
Alex Ovechkin denied the multi-goal effort for the moment. Ovechkin scoring at 18:51. Tried to back it up just a few seconds later. He has scored 150 multi-goal games in his career. In the final minute of period 2, the Caps team a season ago, Locker, 41% of its offense came in the second period. They have just broken out of a 0-0 skirmish with the Bolts. This is icing against Tampa Bay.
Obi's had a heck of a second period here, and so is that guy Vanacek. I mean, he's been a star for the Caps. There he is right there, Vanacek. I mean, the saves he's made have kept the Caps in the game and able to get their game going in the second period. And that goal gives the Caps a 1-0 lead. Ovechkin from Van Riemsdyk.
We thought he was very critical to the victory over the Rangers Wednesday. He made 4 tip-top saves early in that game. This is the first time he's ever facing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ovechkin hovering in the corner. 34 seconds remaining in the period. She lets it come through. Chernak gets into him. And Maroon gathers for Tampa Bay. Pat Maroon, cross rink. Not enough pace on that. It was stolen by Kuznetsov, but this is offside against Washington.
She didn't get out in time. He was sort of going for a line change, and they're changing it up now with 22.9 to go. Osh just couldn't get off for TJ Oshie. 22 goals last year, 43 points, 150 goals, 150 assists. And you add in last game against the New Yorkers, he's been money. Talk about a career that's been so two-way. No one's better than TJ.
Oshie, Locker, had a goal and an assist against the Rangers. He has fantastic numbers against Tampa Bay in his career. Snapshot goes wide from Faravari. 15 seconds in the period, and the Lightning are back on their heels after that Ovechkin strike. Point plays it out there to Kucherov. Braden Point through center. Carving his way in, it's Kucherov getting wide on Faravari. 2 seconds, then 1. And this second period is in the books. Washington on the lead again, thanks to the captain.
733 goals for Alex Ovechkin. Good work inside the blue line to poke it free for Alex coming off the bench, and he sizzles one 7-hole against Vasilevsky. Both teams in that second stanza had a disallowed goal, a goal called back.
Shots on net after 2. 18 for Washington, 14 for Tampa Bay. Vitek Vanacek, very strong in goal for Washington, protecting what is now a 1-goal advantage thanks to Alex Ovechkin. Integrate Intermission Live. Off to the studio now, Alexa Landesdorf and Alan May. Things happen quickly when you go for a ride with the Lightning. The Caps a 1-0 leader over the 2-time Stanley Cup champs after 40 minutes. Folks, Burke and Herbert Bank, they are donating $100 for every Capitals goal scored to a deserving local nonprofit organization supporting children in our community. This season's Scores for Kids recipient is Grand Involve, a Fairfax, Virginia-based organization that places volunteers in local Title I elementary schools to help students and their teachers. Alex Ovechkin back onto the playing surface. It was his goal at 18:51 of the second that's given Washington the advantage. This Caps team that was very good when scoring first a season ago at 24-5-3. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin upstairs. Al Koken is your ringside reporter. A shout out of thanks to all the men and women in our technical crew. Off and running in period 3, 5-on-5. These two teams that'll reconvene on November 1st at Amalie Arena.
Caps got to continue their strong play, especially in their own zone. This is a Tampa Bay team that has not led at any time in their game so far this season. They're a good comeback team. You've got to buckle down in front of Vanacek.
Vitek Vanacek rolls it along. Stamkos takes the boards away. Killorn bracketed by Faravari and Ovechkin. Kuznetsov digging in defensively. Yevgeny Kuznetsov, who had the 3 helpers in the win over the Rangers. Chernak blisters that one wide of the goal. John Carlson allowing Kuznetsov to play it back to center. Cirelli there for Tampa Bay. Both teams in the midst of line changes. The Capitals playing without Nicholas Backstrom, who's on long-term IR. The healthy scratches tonight: Matt Irwin, Connor McMichael, and Dennis Cholowski. Cholowski just recently picked up. As Hedman fires, that was broken up in front. Schuster, a bouncing biscuit foiling him. This is a delayed offside against Tampa Bay. Jensen, who would know Cholowski well from their days together in Detroit. So too for 39 in the red, Anthony Mantha, a former Red Wing.
And I'm sure they had a little bit of input on that deal, picking them up on waivers.
Mantha fencing with Perry, taps it ahead. Sprong closing on the crisscross. He fanned on it. Colton takes it back for the Lightning. Sends in Maroon. Maroon with a step on the defender. Wide angle drive. No problems for Vanacek.
I think more than anything, he was shooting for a rebound and it didn't click out. Try to catch Vanacek leaning to get that puck to bounce into the slot, and it did not.
Chernak for Sergachev. Mikhail Sergachev calmly out of his own zone. Point on the wing to Chernak as he tried to finesse his way around Schultz. Stymied there by the Washington defender. As you look down the dasher board, just past the 2-minute mark in the third. Point swivels on Van Riemsdyk. Braden Point feeds it up top. Chernak switching the point of attack. The long wrister cuffed down by Vanacek. Rebound is loose, and the Caps are able to spill it back into Vasilevsky's neighborhood. Chernak moves it along. Kucherov waiting at the line. Hits Palat, then to Point. Point on the hook off away from Kuznetsov. The long wrister deflected away. Wilson golfs at it. Ovechkin tapping it along. The Capital captain has the only goal so far tonight. Fellow Russian Kucherov away from 3 defenders. Tap back to Hedman. Handcuffed a little bit. McDonough ridden away by Kuznetsov and back to center. Victor Hedman revolving out of his own zone. Hedman gets the center line, plays it cross corner on the dump in for Kachuk. Carlson there was ready for the youngster. Around she comes. Wilson, neat little outlet. As this is cleared down the flank, Ovechkin takes it one-on-one. Great move on McDonough. Backhand off the outside of the goal.
You've got to be a great one to beat McDonough. He's one of the best defenders one-on-one.
Joseph with speed. Jensen likewise plays it out there to Orlov, and Dmitry works back through center. Eller on the go. Snapshot, no worries. Vasilevsky will cover for the whistle.
Alex Ovechkin, a good opportunity once again. Got that puck to the net, one-handed style. Look at him twist the feet right there of McDonough, the veteran D. And there's the backhand. He had not too much mustard on that on his big curve. Once you get a defenseman to cross his legs, you go the other way. And Alex Ovechkin, this is a thing of beauty. Watch McDonough, one of the best defenders in the National Hockey League, and Alex beats him wide.
Ovechkin's second goal against the Rangers. Georgiev was a nifty backhand deke. Not able to duplicate it there against Vasilevsky. It remains a 1-0 game, just shy of the 4-minute mark in the third. This will clear on down. Vanacek checking over his shoulder. Plays it to the corner for Jensen. Cirelli was waiting for him. Killorn never had the handle. Sherry guides it out there for Oshie, and he doesn't get very far. At the line, this is onside for Cirelli. Cirelli, a touch pass, back to the point it comes. Sergachev cross rink. Chernak fires, pad save by Vanacek. Got that one with a blocker. Chernak a long way from the goal. Skims it wide of the net. Around she comes. Sergachev hatchets and scores from downtown.
They got the rotation going, moved around the Caps defensively in home plate. And Sergachev all the way from the blue line through a maze of players. It didn't look like Vanacek picked it up until the last minute and it's already behind him. Give credit to Cirelli. He's got Jensen tied up, and there it is, beating him glove side. Sergachev, you take a look. Look at him, the goaltender. He's looking down. Now it moves from one side to the other. And now you see the movement of the goaltender. Then in front of the net, the quick shot beats Vanacek before he's set up, Joe. Sergachev has tied it up at 1 apiece.
Sergachev had a couple of assists in the OT win over Detroit back on Thursday. Gets just his second goal against Washington in 10 games. And makes this a 1-1 count at the 4:23 mark. Washington and Tampa Bay were the two best teams in the NHL last year in one-goal games. We're level at the moment.
I'm not sure he liked the goal or the +1 that he got on that more.
Locker mentioning and referencing the -7 Sergachev entered play tonight with. Point position, Carlson bombs away. Vasilevsky deep in the paint, made the save. Kucherov angles this one to center. Hagelin was there to chop it on. Hathaway and Dowd knifing in, nothing working against McDonough. He'll play it on. It's Point. Point didn't get it deep. Behind the play, there's a skirmish going on. That's why Dowd didn't get in there, because Hathaway would have been trapped offside. Both teams changing personnel. We've crossed the 5-minute mark of the third period. Sergachev, 98 in the white, the man who just tied things up. Van Riemsdyk, who had an assist on the Ovechkin goal earlier, will clear in. Wilson, centering feed, glanced aside by Colton. We're playing 5-on-5. Sergachev poke checked on the forecheck by Wilson. Help comes from Schultz, and still the Bolts are able to get it to center. Van Riemsdyk with Wilson. Tom looking for help. It comes from Alex Ovechkin, steering it out wide. Schultz not able to finesse his way in there, and at the line, this is offside against the Caps.
Got to get those pucks in right at that blue line there. Kucherov and Hathaway were all tied up behind the play. Here's the entry by Hathaway. Then he gets involved with Dowd. Then Kucherov and Hathaway go at one another. Both guys go down. Kucherov a little shot trying to get away. And both guys went off to their respective benches. No harm, no foul.
Kucherov glaring at Hathaway, motioning to the officials that he was being hooked and held. Nikita had a goal and 3 assists in the win over Detroit back on Thursday. Hathaway playing NHL game number 299 for himself tonight. A neutral zone face-off. Oshie taking over for Hendrix Lapierre. Chernak picked up the helper with Stamkos on the Sergachev marker, coming at the 4:23 mark of the third, making this a 1-1 game. Joseph digging in against Lapierre. Kachuk there. Coach Cooper says 13 in the whites, gritty. Spent some time in the American Hockey League, right? 3 years of seasoning.
Yeah, 10+ goals in each of those seasons. He's a guy that's ready to take the next step. A World Junior for Team Canada. Had 3+3 in 7 games recently, and since then he's been in the minor leagues, but they expect him to make a big jump to the NHL.
Kachuk getting a sweater tonight. Taylor Radish, the healthy scratch among the forwards. Lightning playing without an injured Zach Bogosian, who's going to miss some time, maybe upwards of a month. Kachuk, great centering pass. Bellemare rolled that one wide of the goal. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare to the corner. Joseph will spin it in. Lightning want a line change. Jensen sees this one pop in the air. Calmed down by Sherry. Connor didn't control it on the clear. Oshie will help. 7 minutes down now in the third period of a 1-1 game. The Capital shot counter at 20. Tampa Bay's at 18. Stamkos blocked off by Oshie. Schuster crosses over to keep it alive. Stamkos jitterbugs away from Jensen. That centering pass gloved by Lars Eller, playing NHL game number 800 tonight. Schuster calmly out of his own zone.
Last several seasons in the KHL in Beijing for Schuster, he decided to give another crack at the National Hockey League.
How about that for a travel schedule, by the way?
What do you mean, 4,000 or 5,000 miles for each team?
Holy smokes. Mantha slithering in there. Follow-up chance just rolled wide by Sprong. Mantha top side. Bring it on around for Faravari. As the Caps get 5 men into the attack. Faravari in from his defense position. Slams on the brakes. Cirelli ripped him off. And it is Stamkos cruising through center. Further to Palat. Andre Palat all by himself, rubbed out along the boards by Sprong, and Carlson crosses over to make the play.
A good defensive play by Daniel Sprong, caught playing D because of Faravari stepping up in the play.
Chernak sweeps this one out. A bump set from Palat to Kucherov. His headman gets away from point. Capitals will settle. Schultz on around to Van Riemsdyk with 11.5 to go. Regulation time. On the clear in, Dowd works down the boards. Dowd to his backhand. Settles on the overlap Schultz. Hagelin racing into the corner. Kucherov steers it along. Point. Fleet of foot back through center, 2-on-2. Point on the carry. Lassoed there by Hathaway, and Point's pass to the point, nobody home.
He's a special player, 6 games last year, just about a point per game, and in playoffs, he is money for Tampa Bay.
28 goals in the last 46 playoff games for Braden Point. Perry's in alone, and he fumbled it.
He lifted up his head, and the puck bounced over his stick.
Corey Perry had a great opportunity there. Vasilevsky keeps it hot, looking for Hedman. Kuznetsov waiting there for Washington. Jensen closing, fakes, then fires. That was weakened on the way. Nick Jensen, who had a beautiful goal overturned against the Rangers as the Caps were ruled to be offside on the entry. Hedman zigs and zags. Victor Hedman fires, had that one blocked, and it's out of play for the whistle. We are action-packed again inside of Capital One Arena. A 1-1 game. Perry closing, and then whoopsie.
With assistant coach Blaine Forsythe in what's now a 1-1 game, but it's been a really well-played game. What do you want to focus on down the stretch?
I think we got to get back to playing the offensive zone a little bit more. They're stretching guys out of the zone. We got to take advantage of them defensively. They got guys, 4 guys in the zone a lot of the time. We got to grind them down, keep the cycle game going, use our D, move it low to high, get to the net, create some havoc around the net.
Blaine, thank you very much.
Guys, we sure do appreciate the coaching insights. As we near the midway mark of this third period, the Capitals carried a 1-0 advantage through 2. Alex Ovechkin's third goal of the young season. Mikhail Sergachev has responded early in the third for the visiting Lightning in this 1-1 game. Chernak through center with Killorn. Out wide for Cirelli. Cirelli's wrister floats wide of Vitek Vanacek. Vanacek with 17 stops in the game tonight. Stamkos waits. Long-range drive. There's another save for Vanacek, and he pounces on the rebound. Locker, a few moments ago, Perry got in alone, and Alex Ovechkin says, hey, wait a minute, blame me.
Yep, he took responsibility. There he lets him go. He knows it's a mistake. Fortunately for Alex, the puck bounces over his stick. At the end of the play, Alex looks at the bench and says, hey, my bad. I was supposed to have him. Takes responsibility. The great captain, once again, taking that responsibility. He knew it right away. Wanted to make sure his teammates did. Perry with a great opportunity. Unlucky for him. He lifted up his head and the puck bounced right over his blade.
Corey Perry, Alex Ovechkin, each of them 36 years old. Almost 40% Locker of the entire NHL is 25 or younger. Ovechkin and Perry, a couple of gray beards. At this line on the attack, it's Hathaway working against Sergachev. Drops it to the corner. Palat there ahead of Dowd. Jensen, wrister, straightening up Vasilevsky. Hagelin fires from the angle, and Vasilevsky has that in the glove.
I'm surprised he found that. That was a pretty good screen setup in Vasilevsky's grill. And somehow that puck hits him right in the catching mitt, denies an opportunity for the Capitals' checking line.
Vasilevsky and the Lightning have been involved in deep playoff runs for many, many years. And whenever you get a chance to see occasionally Vasilevsky, his eyes really do bug out.
They do.
You asked how he found it. Well, those eyes are always open.
The Capitals goalies combined, Joe, about 2,300 saves coming into the game. The Tampa Bay tandem of Elliott and Vasilevsky, close to 20,000 saves in their career.
Yeah.
Just shows you how young the tandem is here in Washington.
With Varlamov out for the Islanders, the Isles, I believe, have the youngest goalie tandem for the moment in the NHL, but more often than not, that's going to be Washington this season. Just past the 10-minute mark of the third period, you see the face-off story very close. These two teams that'll reconvene at Amalie Arena on November 1st. Tampa Bay will be back here in the first week of April, as this is the first of 3 between these two. Hagelin just out of his reach. Cernak with McDonough.
And behind the play for Tampa, looks like Kucherov's hurt going to the bench.
Not putting a lot of weight on that left leg and skate at all, as he just now gets through the bench door. McDonough feeds it. Wilson there looking for the takeaway. This Tampa Bay team last year committed the fewest turnovers in all the NHL. Feravari. Uh-oh. Perry off the steal. Stick save by Vanacek. Maroon tied up along the boards. Wilson didn't get it out just yet. Perry parked behind the cage. Wilson will get another try. Colton takes the puck away.
Perry's playing like he did in Anaheim with Getzlaf. He's had a terrific game.
Don't remind me.
I know.
Feravari out wide. Ovechkin one-on-one. Hits the brakes at the line. Great look. Kuznetsov right on in. Vasilevsky the save. A sparkler with a blocker. Kuznetsov still with it. Putting on a skating display. Backside look. Vasilevsky gets over on Ovechkin. That may have hit the post. Kuznetsov still with it. Winds. Fakes. The feed down low. Maroon was in the lane there against Van Riemsdyk. Play on the outside. Schultz marked by Hedman.
The active defenseman, so important for the Caps, keeping plays alive, keeping the pressure and heat on. Some glorious looks by Kuznetsov and Ovechkin.
Icing here against Tampa Bay.
What a shift for Kuzi. He had 2 chances to get the W here on this last shift. Here he is waltzing up the middle. There you see the big waffler of the goaltender Vasilevsky. Here's OV going where the puck is not at, but where it's going to find himself. And it looked like the knob of the stick, the shaft of Vasilevsky keeps that puck out of the net.
Great chances. Ovechkin looking up, looking for a replay as to how Vasilevsky beat him there at the last instant. Control of the face-off belongs to Washington. Trevor Van Riemsdyk towards the goal, hoping for an Oshie redirect, as this is stoked to center by Cirelli. 5-on-5. Sherry looking for some wiggle room, will dump it in. Eller after McDonough. Lars Eller protecting it along the boards. Sherry opens up for a split second. Tampa Bay closing ranks quickly. Cirelli works through center. Gets to the outside. Jensen on the take back for Washington. Nick Jensen going to use his backhand to shovel it on for Oshie. It clicks right to the waiting Stamkos. Steven Stamkos at the attacking line. Killorn is next. Along the wall. Orlov there to muscle up. Cirelli feeds Stamkos back to the point. Switch it to Schuster. Schuster looking for the redirect. That came right on through. To the corner. Taken by Orlov. Just a few moments ago, Locke, we saw Nikita Kucherov make his way to the dressing room tunnel. Outstanding scorer for Tampa Bay. Joseph speeds after Carlson on the quick reverse.
And when I counted up their bench, it looked like they may be down another man, Joe.
Centering pass, nobody home. Mantha carries through center. Mantha on a chip and chase. McDonough stays with him. Takes him to the back dasher. Belmar covering up. The center getting below the goal line defensively for the Bolts on the clear.
They're loving the way Belmar fits into their scheme of things. He's a hard-working, diligent checker for Tampa Bay.
Kachuk from the bad angle. Feeds it up top to Cernak. 6 minutes to go in the third. Vanacek looking to his left. Joseph hounded along the boards. Feravari close by. Braden Point turns away from Carlson. Feeds for Joseph Rister. That was blocked. Loose puck belongs to Sprong. He'll feed it on to Lapierre. Hendricks Lapierre caught there by Cernak. Back at point position closing. Hagelin a drive. An easy save. Vasilevsky will hold. 5 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the third. The Capitals with some great chances and just another near miss. Eighth-year veteran Garnet Hathaway looking on. Down the stretch we go between the Capitals and Lightning with the NHL on NBC Sports Washington. A few moments ago, Locker, a collision involving Kucherov.
Right leg right there gets sort of extended as Hathaway tries to jump around him. There he is being looked at on the bench, and then moments after that, right down the hallway into their locker room.
When we return to the live action, the faceoff will be at the offensive end for Washington. Nick Dowd settles in to take it. Dowd, who won 7 of 10 draws against the Rangers, has taken 9 of 13 tonight. Gets control of this one, but it sends Van Riemsdyk scurrying to center.
They got to keep pressuring their D. They're down to 5 with Jan Ruda out here. Has not played here in the third, so now they have Kucherov in the locker room. Ruda hasn't played in the third. Caps got to pressure their set of D.
Capitals post-game live presented by the DC area Acura dealers will follow. Vanacek to play it here. There's a delayed penalty call coming up.
Yeah, it's going to go against Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be Palat for interference at the far blue line. And the Caps will go to a late power play here in the third with 5:10 to go. Dowd's the checking line. Hathaway draws a penalty, and the Caps go to the power play.
What do you want from your sportsbook? The best odds? Same game parlays you can boost for even more? You want to live your bet life.
Capitals getting the man advantage late in regulation time. Andre Palat has a seat in the sin bin. John Cooper's team will sweat it out shorthanded as he's in conversation there with the former Cap Jeff Halpern. Yevgeny Kuznetsov on this draw opposite of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Ovechkin cashing in on one of his 4 shots so far tonight. It was the goal at the tail end of the second period. Man advantage number 3 for DC. Carlson on the feed. Kuznetsov looks inside. Oshie bump into Mantha. Kuznetsov down the dasher. Yevgeny Kuznetsov on top. Carlson this way. Ovechkin pad save. Vasilevsky. He got over there in a split second.
He sure did. He knew it was coming, and he kicked from left to right with that big right pad.
Carlson wanders his way through center, looking for the trailer. Banks it to Yevgeny Kuznetsov. Mantha takes it in stride. Oshie on the entry, delicately into the corner. McDonough there for Tampa Bay. Looping it on out, but not clear just yet. Ovechkin closing. Alex Ovechkin, beautiful seam pass, finds Kuznetsov. Elevates to Carlson. This way, Ovechkin one-timer. Blocked, rebound. Great chance. Vasilevsky stonewalled Mantha. Power play Washington, another 60 seconds. Anthony Mantha on the verge. His next goal is 100 in his career. Mantha on the feed. Carlson this way. Ovechkin settles. Scanning, probing, looking for the Oshie high tip. He just missed. TJ scolding himself there. Point position, Carlson closing in. Jammed Kuznetsov with a pass. Yevgeny settles things down. Man advantage 40 seconds. Ovechkin fires, blocked by Chernak. Rebound cleared by Anthony Cirelli.
Got the looks that they wanted. Some high quality opportunities. Vasilevsky the difference on that particular power play.
Washington a 5-1 winner over New York back on Wednesday. The Bolts rallied for a 7-6 OT win in Detroit Thursday. Involved in a really good game tonight in DC. 1-1 with 3.5 to go. Ovechkin cross ring. One-timer flutters. It's gloved by Vasilevsky.
Rink wide pass. By the time it reached the target, Lars Eller, the puck was rolling on him, and it bounced up right into the glove on a knuckle puck. The best chance on this play right in front. There's Mantha, who couldn't put it past the left pad. Oshie can't follow up. Some pretty good heat here. And there's another chance by Alexander Ovechkin. Chernak, and the follow-up by TJ Oshie. The Capitals going rink wide on this one. There you see the flutter puck off of Lars Eller's stick.
Capitals have had 3 shots on this man advantage, existing for another 8 more seconds. Orlov on to Lapierre. Hendricks will clear it in. Hedman away from a hard-charging Tom Wilson. As the Lightning are back to full strength with 3 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third. Bellemare finds Joseph on the cutback move. Overlapping, it's Palat, who had the game winner Thursday. Stick save for Vanacek. Follow-up chance that's deflected to the glass. 5-on-5 now with Tampa Bay at the offensive end. Loose puck belongs to Palat. Feed it inside. Point rolls it back. Sergachev, his drive on the way, deflected. Sergachev tied it for Tampa in the third. Palat weaves to the deep slot. Hedman fires. Blocker pad saved by Vanacek. Stamkos has the puck. Stick checked by Eller. Washington should clear and will. Peter Laviolette changing him up on the go. Ditto for bench boss John Cooper of Tampa Bay. On the fly, whirling through center, it's Stamkos. Angled there and cleared out by Dowd to the center line. Maroon will wait. Regrouping through center. Dropping for McDonough. Around to Chernak with 2 minutes to go in period 3. McDonough uncontested out of his own zone. Tape to tape, deflected in by Maroon. Faravari works off the corner. Hathaway taps it. It didn't get out. Not until this clearing effort from Nick Dowd puts the Lightning back on their heels in the defensive end. Dowd got tripped up. Referees say play on as Maroon works through center. 1:33 to go in the third. Jensen, you'll watch him from ice level begin the breakout.
Every touch now is a lot of pressure on all these players on the ice.
Sherry will scoop it to the end wall. Vasilevsky's been dynamite tonight. Plays it off to the corner boards. Help comes with 1:15 to play in the third. Palat golfs it to center. Sherry looking for Trevor Van Riemsdyk. He'll give ground away from Cirelli with 1:05 to go. Building momentum out of his own zone. Van Riemsdyk in the final minute. Jensen through center. Skipped it only as far as the attacking line. Back come the Lightning. Palat getting to the outside. His usual running mate Nikita Kucherov injured in the third period. Orlov bolting out of his own zone. Dimitri put it to center. Braden point there for the Lightning. Off the wall from Hedman. Nothing there. Kuznetsov starts back with Ovechkin. Alex with a rip punch down by Vasilevsky.
That was a toughie. Alex used the defenseman as a screen and ripped it between his legs. Good save by Vasilevsky.
20 seconds to go in the third. Kuznetsov full blast at the attacking line. Lets it fly. Glove by Vasilevsky. There's no rebound.
It's a nice deception there by Kuznetsov. I think everybody thought he would drop the puck, and then he just called his own number, making it a toughie for the netminder Vasilevsky. Good opportunity for Alexander Ovechkin. Look at him use McDonough as a screen. McDonough, because he was burned earlier on in the period, notice what he does. He backs up, which gave Ovi some space to operate and get that shot away. And that last puck goes right into the catching mitt of Vasilevsky. Kuznetsov and Ovechkin have had tremendous games here tonight.
14.4 seconds away from bonus time, are we? Look at those numbers for the grade 8 against Tampa Bay. Nobody has scored more against the Lightning in Tampa Bay history. Decibel level rising inside of Capital One. Final 10 ticks of regulation. Chernak and Ovechkin go to the corner boards. Chernak comes away with the puck. 2 seconds. 1. Regulation time complete. Deadlocked at 1 apiece.
Definitely be a skill fest here, 3-on-3 in overtime. Both these teams can throw guys over the boards. Unfortunately for Tampa Bay, no Kucherov.
Second time in as many games into OT for the Bolts. Ovechkin for Washington. Sergachev for Tampa Bay. To OT with you when you return with the NHL on NBC Sports Washington. Locker, this evening's powerful connection is brought to you by Xfinity X5.
And it's Alex Ovechkin. Good hustle and good work by TVR and Wilson. And Alex picks up the loose change coming off the bench and rips home goal number 733. Moving very close to Hull, who's ahead of him now at 741.
Xfinity X5, internet that's more than just fast. Alex Ovechkin with a few more blistering shots later in regulation against that man. I'll have what he's having. Boy, he's good, and Vanacek has been his equal at the other end for Washington, and now they're on the hot seat. 3-on-3 in overtime. They put 5 minutes up on the board. Each team has earned a point in the standings by virtue of the 1-1 draw after 60.
Beware a point, beware a Hedman. On the Capital side, they have to beware a Carlson and Kuznetsov, and then you throw over the boards Ovi.
Alex Ovechkin when it comes to regular season overtime game winners, 2 dozen. It has been a fun Saturday night on ice. We're about to find out who gets the extra point. Lars Eller, TJ Oshie, John Carlson to start it in red for Washington. Hedman with Point and Cirelli for Tampa Bay.
2 of the best offensive-minded defensemen on the ice trying to outdo each other.
Anthony Cirelli guides it to Victor Hedman. Big fella rolls through center and picks up Braden Point. Point scooting into the offensive zone. Braden Point shadowed there by Carlson. He'll swing back through center. Braden Point full steam ahead. Point waits. Cirelli's next. Marked there by Eller. An overlapping Hedman. Fires, had it broken up. Off the boards and out of play for the whistle.
And that is a skating exhibition. That's first 6 guys on the ice. They were just wheeling and dealing. Possession so critical here, 3-on-3. Tampa got it right off the get-go.
It was Hedman who set up Palat, that man, for the winner in Detroit just 2 nights ago. A remarkable game in which the 2-time champs got off the mat twice when they were trailing by 3. Dowd entrusted with a defensive zone draw. Stamkos beat him, but there's a whistle. A missed draw. They'll do it again.
I think Stamkos was thrown out.
So Dowd will ready himself for Palat this time and win it cleanly. First minute of overtime with the NHL on NBC Sports Washington. Game 2 of the season for the guys in red.
Dowd exits left. Ovi jumps over the boards here.
On the go through center. Picking up steam. Kuznetsov's in. Fires. He fanned on it. May have had it blocked too. Ovechkin takes it out of the corner. Alex Ovechkin turns and he'll zigzag back through center. Waiting once more for Orlov. All Russian trio for Washington. Orlov leaves it. Kuznetsov breezing into the attack zone. Yevgeny Kuznetsov on his backhand. Bumped by Sergachev. Sergachev knocks him down, and there's a penalty call.
Cross-check.
The emphasis on cross-checking apparent.
Sergachev does not like the call. Here comes a 4-on-3 for the Washington Capitals to finish this game off in front of their fans here. And Sergachev can't believe it. He thought he used his chest, but watch his arms extend. There's one. They let him away with one, but the second one to the back of the head was too much. That should have been one there. That should have been one there, and that should have been one. So instead, they got 1 of 3, and he's in the penalty box. The Caps on the power play.
So in overtime, with a man advantage, it becomes a 4-on-3 for Alex Ovechkin. Blaine Forsythe right there, front and center, who directs the power play unit, will gather the guys into the classroom.
And also to give a breather for Kuznetsov and Ovi, who were just on that shift.
If you are just tuning in with us tonight, where have you been? It's a 1-1 hockey game. Ovechkin on the board first at 18:51 of the second. Sergachev tying it early in the third. And into overtime in this heavy-hitting contest. Peter Laviolette's squad has the power play now.
Here's some of the hits we've seen. Jensen working down low. Heavy hit by Killorn on Dowd. Hathaway gets a piece of Ruda. Maybe that's why Ruda's not playing. There's another hit down low. The checking line has been physical. TJ and company, along with Tampa Bay, they've thrown their body around too. This has not just been all based on high-flying hockey and run and gun. There's been some good D, some heavy hits, and we've seen some great goals.
TJ Oshie had a power play goal against New York midweek. He had 13 power play goals last year total for the Caps. He takes this draw now, looking to sink Tampa Bay. Power play number 4 for the guys in red. Ovechkin, Carlson, Oshie, and Kuznetsov. John Carlson rolling through center. Ovechkin works to the middle. Alex Ovechkin gets out wide. Vasilevsky interrupts. Off the glass, but not out. Carlson kept it alive. Now the Caps set it up 4-on-3. Ovechkin, one-timer off the outside of the goal. Alex Ovechkin calming a rolling puck down. 3 minutes to go in the OT. Carlson off the head fake. Kuznetsov plays it right back to him. Ovechkin one time again off the outside with help from the pads of Vasilevsky.
2 poor clears, and now they're reeling. The Capitals got a strike here.
Cirelli gets into a duel with his gloved hand. He's able to swat it out. Washington may have thought he closed his hand on the puck. Cirelli barking as he makes the line change.
He put it over top of the puck, and the Caps were probably correct. There could have been a call there. He just didn't sweep it out of the zone. He sort of pushed it, but with his glove over top of it.
Chernak with room, able to clear. Sergachev boxed in for another 47 seconds, more than halfway through the overtime in Washington.
Not enough good looks, Joe, on a power play that's 4-on-3.
Oshie gliding in. TJ hits the brakes softly back to Carlson. Carlson's feed. Kuznetsov from the severe angle. They rotate for Ovechkin, who's straight away. Kuznetsov to a better shooting lane. Gets the handoff from Ovechkin. Kuznetsov waits. Didn't pull the trigger. Ovechkin guides it back. Carlson. Ovechkin. Nothing there yet. Fake of the one-timer. Snapshot looking for the deflection. It went through Oshie. 7 seconds in the man advantage. Kuznetsov once more. Carlson fakes it. Kuznetsov fires. It was broken up in front. Lightning send it around the boards. Kuznetsov took that space away. Closing in. We're 4-on-4. Wrist shot fanned on. Schultz at point position. Lightning back to even strength. 4-on-4. But their penalty killers are still tired now. Schultz, who has fresh legs. Oshie steers it. Ovechkin turns and fires. He sent that one way wide. 1:15 to go in the OT. Lightning able to clear, willing to take the icing here as it comes all the way down.
Lightning did a pretty good job. Ovi had a couple of good looks, but other than that, not a lot of tic-tac-toe passing around the threesome out there that they threw over the boards. Pretty good kill.
At the end of the icing, Tampa Bay cannot change, so those guys are dragging a little bit. The grade 8 is up to 8 shots on goal in this game.
But I thought you'd play 3-on-3 now because it's a stoppage of the play. I thought they have to change one guy off and play 3-on-3.
I would think you go back.
Yeah, and that's what they're confused about. Definitely you go 3-on-3 now.
So Hedman will check out. Lars Eller is waiting for someone to line up opposite on this draw. We're back to 3-on-3 play. 71 seconds left in sudden victory overtime. 32 shots for Washington, 22 for Tampa Bay in the 1-1 contest. Belmar gets the draw. Sergachev, the goal scorer for the Lightning in regulation. Ovechkin for Washington. Mikhail Sergachev rolls this to center. Point, working to the outside, gets the middle on his backhand, right up the gut. Stop there. Vanacek was waiting.
And the Capitals lucky there. Schultz blew a wheel, and that gave Point some daylight to take that biscuit to the net.
Lars Eller spots Schultz. Justin will leave it for Lars with 40 seconds left. Sidestepping Point. Eller closing. Great toe drag move. Works it back to Point position. Eller still taking it for a ride. Lars Eller with a puck. Mantha fires. Glove save. Snappy style by Vasilevsky.
Because of the power play being on so long, they had to utilize other players on the Capitals bench. Tampa Bay a good opportunity. It was Point coming down. There you'll see the wheel being blown by Schultz, which allowed Point to come in. And a pretty nifty backhand doesn't elude Vanacek. Looked like it was going wide. And there it is, but it hit his shoulder actually and then went past the net.
Mantha had the last chance for Washington. Mantha, who had an overtime game winner in preseason play against Boston. Braden Point waiting for his next chance should it happen with 23 seconds left in overtime. A stalemate on the draw. Stamkos comes out of there. Hedman trying to get up into the rush and make it a 2-on-1. Stamkos fires. He scores. Stamkos wins it for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That is a bullet to the far side. I mean, the two great scorers here in this hockey game, Stamkos and Ovechkin, show off their shooting ability. Sergachev also on the board for Tampa Bay, but it's Steven Stamkos. He's come out of the gate hot. Here it starts right off the faceoff. Ovi can't catch up to Hedman, but he's being kept to the outside anyways. And there comes the shot right through the crux of the arm and blocker of Vanacek. The faceoff, they win it. They get through the scrum, and now it's off to the races for Stamkos, who was fresh. He wasn't on that penalty kill. So he comes off the bench fresh and ready to go. Speed and an excellent, deadly accurate shot. And Tampa Bay will down the Caps here tonight, 2-1.
4:45, the time of the tally. Tampa Bay captain Steven Stamkos with his third goal in the last 2 games. The Lightning back-to-back OT winners. Locker and I have some more work to do with you in just a few moments. Back right after this on NBC Sports Washington. Come from behind fashion. The Tampa Bay Lightning win this hockey game 2-1 in overtime thanks to a Steven Stamkos wrister at 4:45 of the extra frame. And Locker, this guy knows what he's doing when he breaks down the wing.
442nd goal, his third of the season, and that is just a deadly wrist shot and deadly accurate. It's the most accurate shot in hockey, and he just lets it fly. It looks like it goes through the crux of the blocker and the arm, but it all starts on the draw. He's able to fidget it out. It's 2-on-2 down low. He's the third Tampa Bay guy to get in there. He gets a loose puck and lets it fly, beating Vanacek.
Steven Stamkos following Andre Palat. Palat did the deed Thursday in the Motor City. Stamkos wins it tonight for Tampa Bay 2-1 in overtime. Folks, this evening's crossover is brought to you by WebEx, by Cisco. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin here at Capital